First conference I'm going to talk about is an obvious one because I post this all the time on my YouTube channel, or most of the time on my YouTube channel every year. RTEC, or the Unconventional Resources Technology Conference. I strongly suggest you attend this conference if you are involved with unconventionals, regardless of the subdiscipline you're in petroleum engineering. I like going to RTEC because it's a multidisciplinary conference focused on unconventionals, and you get some really good quality papers out of it. The issue with RTEC is that there's just so many good things that are happening all at once that you don't know which one to get, so you have a huge fear of missing out, or FOMO. Or maybe that's just me. The second conference I'd like to talk about is the Hydraulic Fracturing Technology Conference, or HFTC. I was a part of the Hydraulic Fracturing Technology Conference board, the technical review committee, and I really like this conference because of the high quality technical papers that are presented in this conference and how competitive it actually is to even submit an abstract and get it accepted in that conference. But you get some high quality papers, you get some really good case studies, and you get some breakthrough understandings of hydraulic fracturing. And we're always going to need some of those breakthroughs and understanding hydraulic fracturing, especially in unconventional reservoirs. The next conference I'd like to talk to you about, and this is more networking based, it's the Annual Technical Conference and Exhibition, or ATCE. I've attended ATCE since 2013, on and off, and I really like ATCE because of the networking opportunities you can have internationally with other folks. The issue with ATCE, from my experience, has been that there are a select number of papers that are focused in the Permian. So there may be a select number of papers that are focused in your particular area just because there's so many submissions from all over the world that get submitted to ATCE. But it's a great networking event regardless from the SPE. The next conference I'd like to talk to you about is the Permian Basin Conference. This actually used to be called the Liquids Rich Basin Conference in 2019. That was the latest it was called, and I was the co-chair of that conference. The Liquids Rich Basin Conference focuses on the Permian, and I would like to say that you get some really good operator-based papers that are focused on the Permian, and to be honest, that's where most of the investment's at in terms of unconventionals. So I strongly suggest you attend this conference to get a better understanding of multidisciplinary efforts in the Permian and in unconventionals. And there's some that are focused in the conventional reservoirs too in the Permian, but most of the focus and the investment has been in unconventionals. The next event I'd like to talk to you about is not a conference, it's more of a workshop setting. And it's called Sukbeveker. Pardon my lack of pronunciation. But Saga Wisdom holds this workshop, see what I did there, in different places around the United States. And it's a way for people to get out of their offices and focus on the workshop. You get some quality networking, you get some quality presentations from operators, and you get some good technology showcasing. I attended Sukbeveker earlier this year, and I had a great experience, so shout out to the Saga Wisdom team when it comes to this sort of workshop or this event. Strongly suggest you attend this event. The next workshop I'd like to talk to you about, and again, this is a workshop, is the RTA PTA workshop. And this is usually held in Galveston every other year, I believe. The RTA workshop is something that I'm very passionate about, so of course I'm going to do a plug about this. But the Rate Transient Analysis Workshop focuses on some well diagnostics and the advances in rate transient analysis, especially for multi-phase flow, and how we can better evaluate well performance, look at well diagnostics better, and really just get a better understanding of how these unconventional wells are performing. Now, the next conference I'd like to talk to you about now, this is actually a conference, and I wrote this on one of my lists, and this is actually the very first conference I attended when I came into the oil and gas industry as an 18-year-old. OTC, the Offshore Technology Conference. Huge showcase of quality papers of offshore technologies. And Lots of technology showcasings. Great networking event because there's just tons of submissions. This is like the ATCE for offshore, in my opinion. So I strongly suggest you attend the Offshore Technology Conference for just if you are based in the offshore space and if you just want to get some quality networking, especially in the Houston area where it is the oil capital of the world. The next conference I'd like to talk to you about, and this is for the production engineers out there, is called ALCE, or the Artificial Lift Conference and Exhibition, or the Artificial Lift Conference. The Artificial Lift Conference talks about the technologies in artificial lift such as gas lift, ESP, and rod pump, and some of the technology showcases for those particular types of artificial lift. I enjoyed this conference because it's great networking with other production engineers, with other artificial lift experts, and just to get a better understanding of how to improve well performance in conventionals and in unconventionals. Now, the next workshop I'm going to talk about is called the Parent-Child Workshop. It's a long name, but I'm going to call it the Parent-Child Workshop. This is focused on primary infill well relationships. I like to call them primary infill wells, but it focuses on the phenomena that you drill a certain number of wells, then you drill some more wells right next to it, and then you notice some depletion based on the timing between how one pad was developed and then how the other pad was developed sequentially. I like to go to this one because this is just one of my focuses in my career, focusing on parent-child depletion and how to improve well performance whenever you have the sequential type of development. Now, those are all the conferences and workshops that I'd like to talk about. You notice that based on the conferences and workshops I've talked about, not a lot of them are based out of other subdisciplines than production, reservoir, and completions engineering. So the caveat is my experience has been in those subdisciplines. And if you have something that's focused in drilling engineering, put it in the comments below. Where are my drilling engineers at? But anyway, these are the conferences and workshops I suggest you got to check out for 2024 or 2025, whenever these workshops are held. Check out the SP Events website to get a better understanding of other events that are happening in your area. And I think another caveat I'd like to say that this was a US-centric recommendation as opposed to internationally. I know there's ADNOC. I know there's the International Hydraulic Fracturing Technology Conference. I know there's ADIPEC. There's all sorts of events out there that I would suggest you attend if they're local to your area. But that's everything that I wanted to share today. As usual, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below on what other things you'd like to see. Have a happy holidays.